Hi, guys. My signal is saying that it's weak already, and I just pressed the button. So I'm going to wait a few seconds and make sure we got people jumping on and that it's connected. If you jump on, go ahead and send some hearts or likes or comments so I know you're on. All right, let's see. A few people. It keeps saying you're connected. Go ahead and send likes or hearts or comments. I might just disconnect it from the Wi-Fi. Oh, hi, Rach. Rach is on. We just went for a walk this morning, got our bodies moving. Like, what did we do? Like 4 or 5 miles? That was so fun. Downtown Austin. We went early because it gets hot here, so you have to go early. I like getting my workouts done early anyway, so we got outside today. That was fun. All right, we'll wait a few more seconds here. Let a few more people get on, and then we'll get started. Today, I'm talking all about mindset for success and how I personally really got my mind right and how I broke through the yo-yoing in my body physically. I used to go up and down all the time for the last like 10 years. And then also in my business, like how my mindset affects all those different areas and how you can really push past that point of always feeling like you're off or on or you're yo-yoing. So that's what we're talking about. Mom says the connection's bad. I turned off the Wi-Fi, so let me know if that's better. Hi, Carrie. Oh, good. Okay, I'm all good now. We'll wait a few more minutes. If you're on, go ahead and drop down your name or send some hearts. Let me know you're on. Say hi. This is, I think, my 4th episode, so I've been loving doing this, and I've gotten people actually messaging me topics. So if you have topics or things you want me to cover, send them my way. Go ahead and comment them on here, and then I would be happy to do a short show on them. I try and keep these short and brief and to the point so that, oh good, I got lots of hearts. Awesome. Just so that we can, not take up too much of your time, but also get some good content out to you guys that you can actually take and implement right away. So, all right, we're getting up there. We'll wait just a few more seconds and we'll get started. Yay. Awesome. So the first episode I did, I talked about HIIT training and why it was best for fat loss. And then I talked about how to build your clean meal. And then in this one, I'm talking about mindset. So if you're interested in any of those other ones, go ahead and, toxic belly fat. Those are the 4 that I've done so far. So if you're interested in those, go ahead and check out my videos folder. They should all be saved in there. Okay, good. So I'm going to go ahead and get started because we've got quite a few people now on at this point. So if you have questions as I'm going through and sharing my story with you, feel free to add them on here. And then at the end, I'll go through and I'll answer all your questions, okay? All right, so the first thing I want to talk about with your mindset is really like what's required. Because a lot of people will come into a gym or go with a nutritionist or, people that we bring onto our team and they get started and they see great results, right? Like in their first 30 days, great results. And then maybe down the road, 60, 90 days, the weight's slowly creeping back on and before they know it, they're back to the beginning point that they were at, right? And there's a few things. You have to find, the right plan that's best for you and your body that works well. That was the first thing I did was I found nutrition and a plan and a system that worked really well for me. But the second thing that a lot of people don't address is the mindset. They don't realize that as you're going through the transformation physically, your mindset has to match. It just has to. Your mindset has to be going through the transformation process as well. Otherwise, you will not maintain the results. It's crucial. And the reason for this is you have subconscious thoughts, things that you're telling yourself all throughout the day that you don't even realize you're doing. And, like if you've always looked in the mirror and felt like you looked a little fat, or you've always had this one area that you could never get to lean out or tone up, you're constantly telling yourself that, even if you're not consciously like saying the words out loud, your subconscious mind is telling yourself that. So if you don't work on your mindset and getting rid of those thoughts, you'll have the physical transformation for as long as you can hold on. But when you get there, that identity and your brain is not going to match, and you're just going to rebound back because you haven't become that new fit person. You don't look in the mirror and see yourself as a fit person. So you're going to just slowly come back to where you were. So that's why the mindset is so important. You have to have both working together. Your identity has to match that new body that you're building. And then the other thing is you really need to know why you're doing this. Why is it important to you? Let's say your goal is to put on 10 pounds of muscle. Why is that goal important to you? And it has to be somewhat emotional. It has to be somewhat in a spot where you're passionate about. It can't just be, willy-nilly, like, because I have this event coming up. Sometimes that's enough to get you started, but eventually it's got to be, I want to feel good. I want to feel confident. I want to be able to finally step out and, have good posture and feel like I can talk to anyone without, turning my head or looking in a different direction. There's got to be a reason why you're doing this that you can focus on. You can't just be doing it because you want to look like so-and-so. You have to be doing it for some internal reason that's important to you, right? So, and then the other thing is just, when I went through my journey, I really found like, for me, the physical part was easy. I could follow a plan. I could train for something, and it was like a formula, right? You did X, Y, and Z, you'd get this. So I would just do that over and over again. And then when I came to like my normal lifestyle, I wouldn't know how to be when I wasn't training for something because my mindset wasn't there. I wasn't looking at it as like a lifestyle. I wasn't looking at it as like the person I was becoming. So I would just rebound, even if what I was eating didn't change that much. Or, maybe we'd go out on the weekends, and when I was training, I wouldn't do that. But then I'd start doing that again. Like, it's not huge changes, but it's because my mind was never in the right spot. So naturally, my body and my brain slowly took myself back to what was comfortable. So this is a process that you have to get a little uncomfortable in your mindset. And some of this stuff I'm going to say today may seem a little woo-woo or crazy. And it did to me at first. It made me feel kind of uncomfortable. But to be honest with you, that's what works. That's what changes the pathways in your brain so that you start seeing and believing what you're becoming. And then when you actually get there, you maintain it. So this is why mindset is so important. So you want to make sure that, you're working on your mindset as you're transforming. And you want to make sure that you have a reason why you're transforming. Those are the two things. So what I do, this is what I do on a daily basis to keep my mindset right, because we live in a world where it's really, really easy to not practice any kind of mindset training at all, walk outside and just take in everything that's being thrown at us, whether it's the news or a negative friend you have or a toxic environment that you work in. There's some things that you can't help. So you have to be so sound in your mindset, where you're going, what your goals are, that when you walk out, you have this shield on, and that nothing anybody else throws at you is going to get you off track. So you do this by practicing it daily. So here's what I do. In the morning, I have what I call a power hour. And some of you might have even seen me post about this briefly. I'm going to break it down for you a little bit more here, what exactly is in that power hour. But it's not always an hour long, but it's an allotted amount of time in the morning before I do anything that I take that time without my phone. It's quiet, and I do these 3 things. I will say, I've even had days where I have a super early flight. I will do it on the plane, or I will bring it with me. I will go to a coffee shop and make sure I have it done. We were at a bachelorette party, was it last weekend or the weekend before? And all the girls were showing up, and we were ready to go. I had to take 20 minutes to go down in the lobby of the hotel that I was in and do this before I went, because I knew my mind wouldn't be right. I wouldn't feel as happy as I knew I could feel. This is the key to my happiness. And, I won't go down this road today, but I've struggled with some, mental health issues, just feeling happy. And I took notice of that early in my 20s, and I constantly was seeking out how to make it better. I moved so that I had more sunshine. And then I started implementing this practice, and this practice has grown to include these 3 main components. And guys, this is how I, without being on medicine or anything, have been able to feel happy every single day. And, obviously there's physical health care that, nutrition, exercise that comes into this too, but the mindset is so important. So, okay, here's what I do in the morning for my power hour. The first thing is gratitudes. So, before my gratitudes, I pray. If you're a faithful or religious person, whatever that looks like for you, take that time to do that. Some people, it's meditation too. They do a combo of both. Some people, they don't really have a faith, or they're not religious, and that's fine. Just take some quiet time then. Take that time first. And then after that, I go right into number 1, which is my gratitudes. And it sounds crazy, and I used to hear people say this when I would listen to podcasts and things, and I never really did it. I don't know why. I'd be like, yeah, of course I'm grateful. But I mean literally having a gratitude practice. So every day I sit down in the morning, I have a pink notebook, and I should have grabbed it so I could show you guys. It's over there. And I really believe that you don't get more of what you want in life until you're grateful for what you have exactly right now in this moment. So there's some days when I really just want to start working, or I really just want to go work out. I don't want to sit down and do this, but I sit down and I do it because I know that in order to step into the body and the person I want to be, I have to be grateful for where I'm at right now. I have to love my body for where I'm at right now. I can't just all of a sudden love my body when I end up there. It has to be there now. Otherwise, you're never going to love your body or whatever your goal is until when you're there. You've got to love it through the process, right? So I know that when I sit down and do my gratitudes in the morning, my whole outlook for my day changes. So this is really the key part here to my happiness each day. So some days it's simple, guys. Like today it was like, thank you for my puppy because she makes me happy. Thank you for the sun. Thank you for my hair. Thank you for my legs that carry my body and allow me to do amazing hikes. Thank you for the awesome walk I had yesterday. Simple things that allow you to shift your focus and realize, wow, that is pretty awesome. That was a nice walk. The weather was nice. And you start thinking of all the good that happened rather than the person that hung up at you on the phone, cut you off in the car. If you go down that road, you're going to miss out on all the good stuff. So I write down 10 things every single morning that I'm grateful for. Sometimes they repeat themselves, but sometimes there's something that I recognize that I have that not a lot of people have, whether it's, an amazing spouse. I write that down almost every day. You have to, whatever you are seeking more of in your life, be grateful for what you have right now at that level, and it will come around. So that's the first thing I do in my power hour after I do my prayer and meditation, whatever that looks like for you. My gratitudes. And I would just want to emphasize one more thing on that. I truly believe, especially for women, the body bashing, you have to stop. If you stop and you quiet the noise and listen to what you say to yourself when you look in the mirror, you would never say that to the person sitting next to you or your best friend. So why would you say it to yourself? Once you look at, and I still struggle with this, but once you can look at yourself in the mirror and say, thank you, this body has carried me through so much, thank you, that's when you can start to be happy with where you're at right now in the transformation process and start working towards that vision that you have. Second thing I do is I write down my goals and I read my affirmations and I kind of visualize. So this goes back to your why, like why are you doing this? I write down my goals all in present tense as if I've already accomplished them. And I do this because your brain really doesn't know the difference. So if you repeatedly go through and you say, I am, it is July 15th and I am, your brain can't decipher the difference. So naturally you will start working towards that. It's crazy. There's a awesome TED Talk about this from Dr. Joe Dispenza. I'll drop the link below that you can listen to. He does amazing work, and I love his stuff. I have his books. He's an awesome person to follow if you're into this kind of stuff. I attach an emotion to each goal. So I make sure I know exactly how I'm going to feel when I get there. And I take a moment, I read that to myself. So I write the goal in present tense, and then I finish it with, and I feel so happy. And I feel so grateful. And I am filled with joy. I am having so much fun. I always attach an emotional feeling to it so that you can literally feel how you're going to feel when you reach that goal. It has to be so like excited about it or so emotional about it that you can literally feel it. You know what it's going to feel like when you step into that person, that body, that pair of jeans, whatever your goal is. When you build that business, whatever it is for you, you have to be able to feel it right now. That part is crucial. And there's short-term goals. So it's not like I have this long list of goals. I have short-term goals that get me to my long-term vision. And then I review them every day. So I have affirmations written out on cards, and I just review them every single day. I write down my goals for my business, for my health, and then I review my affirmations. And my affirmations are tied to my why, what my long-term vision is, what I see my life as, what I want in my life. I write them all down and I review them every single day. So that's after I do my gratitudes, I do my goals and my affirmations. So I write them down, present tense, I keep them short term with a long-term vision, and I attach a feeling to it. I review them every day right after my gratitudes. And then the last thing I do in that power hour is I read or I listen to a podcast, something that's going to flood my brain with good info, whether it's a story about someone who's accomplished what I'm trying to accomplish, or whether it's, a bikini competitor's story and it's the first time you're doing a bikini competition. You want to flood your brain with information that's going to help you towards your goal. So, right now I'm reading a book from my mentor and coach, Jeffrey Combs, called More Heart Than Talent. I just finished that book. So now that's guiding me towards where I'm headed. Now I'm going to pick another book that's headed in the same way. And it may only be that I read for 10 minutes after this. Maybe I only have 25 minutes to do all of this. So I may only read for like 5 minutes, but I get a little bit in. When I'm in my car, I plug my podcast in. So I'm constantly flooding my brain with the right information. You really have to limit the bad information. You have to guard your mindset so much because we live in a world where people are constantly trying to pull you down. And the media is constantly trying to pull you down, keep you fearful. You have to guard it. You have to, if you hear something that's kind of making you feel icky, turn it off. If you have a person that you walk away and you feel like they've sucked out more energy from you rather than helped you feel inspired or lifted up, start to set a boundary with that person. Limit your time with them. You have to guard your mindset. That is so key. Just the biggest thing with this one is find like an author or a podcast that you really like, plug into it daily. So those are my 3 things that I do in my power hour. It's how I start my day, and it's how I really have a day for success. If I don't do these things, I feel just kind of like meh, like like maybe I'll do some of this. Oh, I should probably go work out because I got to get my workout in. But if I do this, it's like, yeah, I'm going to crush it today. I'm going to start living into my power, stepping into my power. And slowly that accumulates over time and you end up at your goals. So that's really how I went from constantly yo-yoing in my body and in my business to being consistent and really, becoming the person that my goal is, becoming who I want to be. So, and then just remember your words are so powerful. So what you speak to yourself when you're just driving in the car about yourself, you ultimately believe and become. What you speak out loud to like your spouse you ultimately become. So your words are so powerful. You have to really work on always watching your language, speaking into existence what you desire. So one thing that people say a lot is like, I'm trying to lose 10 pounds. Are you trying, or are you doing it? Are you committed to losing 10 pounds? Just by saying trying means you're like, you're kind of gonna do it. You're kind of gonna do it. It doesn't matter if you kind of feel uneasy about it. You say to yourself, I'm committed to losing 10 pounds. I'm gonna do it. And it's totally different than saying, I'm trying to lose 10 pounds. Do you see the difference? Your language and your words that you use matter. So you have to start paying attention to that, and awareness is the first step. Start to pay attention to what words you choose. And start to use words like commit. And that word commit will take you so much further anyways, just by switching and using that word commit. And then just what you focus on grows. Think about it. Like if you're focusing on something bad that's going on at work, it grows. It's like a virus. It like, next thing you know, you're talking about someone else about it, and then and I'm guilty of this too, and then they start talking to that person about it, and then it grows and it turns into this virus. So don't focus on it. Focus on the good things, because it has the same effect. It grows. If you've got a lot of debt, focus on outproducing it. Focus on how you can outproduce the debt. Don't focus on the debt. Know that it's there, be organized about it, and then focus on what you're doing about it. Because if you focus over here, you're not over here doing anything productively to help pay it down. So you've got to focus on the good. What you focus on expands, what you focus on grows. So, and just remember, like, it's all a process, and even just implementing the gratitudes every day, that is huge. You will notice huge shifts in that. I was talking to a friend of mine today, Rosie, and she was talking how she had just started doing that too, I think like this year or something, and just how much the shift and in how you look at life changes, and just how you start to appreciate things around you so much more, at least from my experience. Okay. Yes. Hi, Catherine. Thanks for joining. Do you guys have any questions? Lots of hearts from my mom. Thanks, John. Yes. It's so powerful, guys. Yeah, you have to love yourself first, and then you'll love yourself later on. It's so true. I think too, it comes with what you put out to like your spouse and the relationships in your life. If you don't take care of yourself and love yourself and take even 25 minutes in the morning to reflect on the great things in your life, or you aren't giving that person your best mindset. You aren't giving that person your best. I know that, when I kind of get in a rut, it hasn't happened in a long time because I've been doing this now for over a year, but not too long ago, like a couple years ago, I would get in like a rut, and Brett was like, it wasn't fair to him, right? Because I was kind of just like negative and the clouds are out, and I had to go through this long drive, and all these negative things would fester, and then he would be the person at home that I would like lay it all out on. So you have to take care of yourself too, and that's a way that you can give to the other people close in your life, if that makes sense. It's just so important. I mean, hands down. Thanks Mallory. Thanks Catherine. All right, I'll wait like one more second. I want to make sure. Yes, learn your language. That's a good one. Sometimes you don't even realize, it's all subconscious, guys. Sometimes you don't even realize like what you're saying to yourself, especially ladies, like when you go shop and try clothes on, it's so toxic. That's why I order online and then just return what I don't like. Okay. All right, awesome. So I think we're good. If you guys have any topics, if you're just jumping on now, I see some people jumping on, go back to the beginning. But if you have any topics for the future that you'd love for me to cover, just inbox me. I'd be happy to do a show on it. It's called Wellness Wednesday. So anything regarding, fitness, nutrition, mindset, health, anything like that, I'd be happy to do a show on. And thanks so much for joining, and I'll go ahead and wrap this up, and it should post as a post too. So, all right, guys, I'll see you next week. Thanks for jumping on.